This is part one of the Excel practice test. I have divided it into two parts. And this first part covers some basic formulas and formatting. The fun down here is for some functions. We've got some database stuff with sorting and filtering and a chart. So let's get started. The instructions for sheet one are on these first two tabs here. I had quite a few instructions and they didn't really fit on sheet one very well along with all the rest of the data. So we're going to start over here. First thing I want to do is save the file on my desktop with the name practice test part one followed by my first and last name. So we're going to go here and we'll just copy that and save ourselves a little bit of typing. And then we want to go do a file and a save as. And we want to go to our desktop and save it like that. And we want to put our first and last name. And save it. And I've already put a copy out there, so okay, so that takes care of step one. Then I want to take the stuff in A1 and merge and center it, set the whole thing to 10 point for Dana, and apply some styles to rows 1 and 4. So merge and center this all the way across here. And apply the title style to that. And then I want to take all of these things here and I want to, whoops, before I did that I was supposed to set the whole thing to 10 point for Dana. So let me go and select the whole sheet up here and we'll go to 10 point. And just type in the letter V and that should be enough to get you in the right place here. And now I got to go back and let's change this one, go back to the title style. Okay, and then I want to take this stuff down here, or up here rather, at the top, and I want to change that to heading 3. Okay, let's flip back over here to sheet 1. And we have done all of this stuff now. I'm just going to color them black as we go through. In A4 to L4, turn on wrap text and set the height of row 4 to 50. So let's go, I've already got it selected. Let's turn on wrap text and then set the height of this row to 50. Let's just right click and go to row height and type in 50 and click on OK. And let's go back now and see what's next. Total purchase value, total current value, and profit or loss. So purchase value is going to be equals the number of shares multiplied by the purchase cost per share. So D5 times E5 and hit enter. So we got $31,000. The total current value is going to be the number of shares times the current cost per share and hit enter. And then the profit or loss is what it's worth now, which is the H5 minus what it was worth when we bought it and missed it. There we go. So H5 minus G5 and hit enter. And it's worth less now, so we have lost, which should give us a negative number, and it does. So we subtracted in the correct way. Now let's select all of these and get our fill handle, and let's drag it all the way down, and we've got all of those filled in now. And so that is these 3 items right here. And we want to calculate the sum of the total purchase, the total current, and the profit or loss column. So I need to go to the bottom of these columns right here, and I want to do an auto sum. And let's do a sum. And now it's probably actually including this blank cell here, but that's probably not a big deal. I mean, if you wanted to technically be correct about it, you would probably change this 34 to a 33, but in this case, it's not really a big deal, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so that takes care of the last 3 items on this sheet, so I can turn them all black now. And now let's go to the rest of the instructions. And I want to calculate the percent increase, and then it's percent of the portfolio. So percent increase is, let's go back, the amount of the increase or decrease if it's negative. So I want to take I5 and I want to divide it by the original and hit enter. So that went up, or went down about 22%. Let's copy this all the way down. And then I want to know what percent of my total portfolio this is. Well, my total portfolio is this number right here. So I want to know what percent this is out of the whole thing. So that's going to be equals, and then H5 divided by the number down at the bottom, the total here. That's going to be an absolute cell reference. That's not going to move when we copy the formula. So I need to put the dollar signs in with F4. Okay, and then hit enter, and so that's about 1/30th, 3% of my total portfolio. And if we copy this all the way down, we'll find out what percentage each of these is. And I think one of the next instructions is to sum this column here, and that should add up to 100% since it's all of the there we go. So it's summing everything from K5 to K34 and hit enter. And that should add up to 1 or 100% because altogether it makes up 100% of my portfolio. So let's go back to our instructions now. And we just did those two. And we also did the percentage, the sum of the percentage of portfolio, and that should add up to 100%. In the note column, we want to put a formula, put a plus sign in the cell if the stock shows a profit and a minus sign if it shows a loss. That means an if statement. So let's go back over here, and in the note column I need to do an if, and I'm just going to type it in from scratch, and the condition or the logical test is did I make money or not? And if that number is greater than 0, then I did, and so I put a plus sign in the cell. I got to put quotation marks around it. And if not, I put a minus sign in the cell and close it off and hit enter. And since I lost money on that one, I should have a negative sign there, and I do. Okay, now let's flip back and see what we have next. So we can color that one. Format the shares column as whole numbers with a comma and 0 decimal places. My cost or my values per share at the beginning and per share now should have 2 decimal places and a dollar sign. My other ones are big numbers. We probably don't need dollar signs on those. So let's go back over here, and number of shares here should be a comma with 0 decimal places. So it starts off with 2 by default, so I need to decrease it. Then these are all dollar values, but these two are the ones that we want to keep the decimal places on. So let's just go here and make this the accounting format. And then these numbers here are quite a bit bigger, so what we're going to do with these is we're going to just format them, including these values down here, with currency, but we don't want any decimal places, so I do decrease a couple times there, and now we're good with those 3 columns. So let's flip back over here and see what else we've got. Okay, so turn those black. Format the percent of total portfolio and percent increase as percents with 1 decimal place, and don't forget the total at the bottom. Then we want to make it bold with a bottom double border around it. So these numbers all here are going to be percents. Whoops. And here's our percent button on the home tab, and we get 0 decimal places by default. We're going to increase that by 1, and that's what our number should look like. Then down here on the bottom, we want to put a double bottom border under that. So let's go to our borders over here, and there is a bottom double border right here. And so if I move away from that now, I should see the double border there. And then let's go back over here and look at our instructions. So okay, so I formatted those with percents as 1 decimal place. I need to make the totals bold. Put a bottom double border. Right align C through K Okay, so it's bold and done the border and right align C through K. So let's go back over here, and our totals row is bold. Let's just go up here. You can also do a Control B for that. And so totals row is bold, got a bottom double border, and we want to right align columns C through K. So let's go and do columns C through K, and we want those to be right aligned, including, it says, the headings at the top. Okay, so we're good on that one, and now let's mark that off. And then let's center the category and the note column. So here's the category column, and hold the Control key down while you click on column L, and we can do both of them at the same time. So I want those to be centered. Click on the center alignment button, and we're almost done now with sheet 1. So we have just done this, and the next thing we want to do is we want to put our name in the header and make all columns as wide as they need to be, and then do a print preview, and we want landscape centered, no grid lines, and fit it on a page. So let's go and do a print preview, and let's do the orientation as landscape, and we want it to fit all the columns on one page. We want to get rid of those grid lines here. That's on the page setup, and that happens to be on the sheet tab, and we turn that off and click on OK. And the other thing, I should have left that open. The other thing we want is we want to add our name to the header. So let's do a custom header, and we want it over here on the right side. So just click on the right side, enter your name, and then let's go up here and select it first and click on font, and that's already Arial 10, so we're good. Click on OK, click on OK, click on OK, and that's what our printout should look like, and that is where we're going to stop this video.